Namaskar. So this is the secrets of the Kula Kundalini. Let us begin. There are in this universe many different manifestations. The whole universe is composed of frequencies. It is an entire spectrum of frequencies, from the most solid to the most sublime. And in all of these frequencies, there is a commonality. The substantive nature of what is remains the same. Whether it is matter, consciousness, mind, all is imbued by this sublime essence. All exists within the infinite, within the one eternal existence. But within that relativity of manifestation, there are all manner of different frequencies. And thus, there are the lokas. And in the human body, the koshas. Because there are different frequencies, matter, particles, the particle universe is very solid, very impenetrable. Consciousness and energy are so dense that if you split the atom, massive amounts of energy are released because of the density of the particle universe. Consciousness appears to be asleep because of the density of the frequency of the particle universe, the material universe. But then there are ever more subtle layers. Then there is mind, ordinary mind attached to the physical universe. Then there is subtle mind. And so these begin to manifest in the different koshas and in the lokas within the universe itself, within the cosmos. The force of the Kula Kundalini is depicted as 3 circles wound in a spiral of 3, wound at the base of the spine in the physical body of a person. The body itself is composed of organs, blood, different types of material or physical substance. It is a biological machine. It operates very nicely with living organs of various construction coordinating together to form an entire system which houses a mental structure that is beyond any of the individual organs in the body, but is the uniqueness of that personality, that person, or that animal, or that plant. But in a human form, this energy of the 3 worlds, the physical, the mental, and the spiritual, are symbolized by the 3 coils of the serpent at the base of the spine. This is symbolism, but it is very relevant because in the symbolism is the truth of what exists. The spiritual energy is held by a grante, a knot, in the embodiment in the physical, mental, and spiritual spheres of the individual. And these are held, consciousness is held in place in that sense of individual existence by this grante. It is not precisely a block, but a type of holding place, something that keeps it in place. And so this is considered the coiled serpent energy, the vital life force, which is held in the individual identity, in the physical body, in the mind, and in the consciousness of spirituality, which is sealed beneath this grante, in these spheres of individual existence. Then associated with it are the four directions of human life: physical achievement, mental achievement, spiritual achievement, and moksha. All the directions are contained in this basic stratum, that there can be different types of achievement potential. And the potential of moksha lies here. The potential of full liberation. Dharma lies here. So these four directions of human life, the dharma, the moksha, the physical, and the mental projections, they lie in this coiled sense of individuality. So all of this vital force is contained. When this cap, this grante, is removed through concentration of the mind and intention to awaken from the dream of individual self, that, or from past life experience which bring this awakening, then this vital life force in the physical body, that vital life force is prana. It rises upwards. It has a more complexity to the nature of that vital force, but it is vital life force. There is the chakra, the physical development of this vital life force. There is the nature of this force in the body. But this vital force of life itself, as it begins to awaken, this Kundalini Shakti is naturally pulled to the center of the universe, to the love unconditioned, to the core existence, the brilliance beyond all thought in the mind, the one eternal core of the universe that is called Shiva and is said to reside in the Sahasrara chakra. So this vital life of the individual, when the cap on that individuality is removed, this life force begins to move upward in the physical body in the form of the Kundalini Shakti, and it is drawn towards the cosmic nucleus, towards the very essence of being as Shiva. And what happens is that in the sense of individuality, consciousness is identified with the physical manifestation. But as it moves through the chakras, as this life force energy moves out of the individual identity and moves through the chakras, in reality, the vital energy that constitutes your individual existence, that composes your physical body, your mind, and your sense of your Atman, your spirit, it moves through the entire spectrum of frequencies between the most crude, the identity with the physical, to Lord Shiva, the most subtle, most powerful, most profound experience. It is not only a movement within your individual body. That is a misunderstanding. It is a movement of conscious awareness from the individual body through the layers of reality, through the layers of manifestation, through subtle, more and more subtle frequencies, until the pure essence, the pure divinity, the sun, the consciousness brighter than 1,000 suns, the manifestation of the true Guru, the one eternal source, is experienced. So what happens is that consciousness, conscious awareness, begins to transit through different stratums until it is beyond all human form, beyond all ordinary manifestation, and beyond the knowledge body of all the knowledge of all that is embodied, beyond the bliss body, beyond the pure bliss of being, into the cosmic mind, and beyond the cosmic mind into pure consciousness. So as the Kundalini Shakti rises through the physical body, as the serpentine energy rises upward, the awareness is transmuted. The life force energy is transmuted from the physical, mental, and spiritual, or Atman, to the Paramatma, the infinite consciousness. So the manifestations arise in different frequencies, and where those hubs of frequency are, they are the chakras. And each chakra is associated with certain propensities of mind. When those propensities of mind are activated by sanskara and they are influencing the individual, then as this vital awareness that is in the physical body, controlled by the movement of prana in the body, of life force energy transmuting. If the body is not frequent, if the frequency of your physical form is not in alignment with the subtlety of energy, the subtlety of consciousness, the frequency that the mind, the body mind begins to operate, then, and some vrittis are there which are not in harmony, you get symptoms of the Kundalini Shakti. You get jerking of the body, you get various kinds of kriyas that go on, means different types of movements of the body and sounds that come out, different experiences. The body needs to move in different ways because the channels are not completely clear, because there is some tendencies of mind, blockages in the experience. And so as this life force energy begins to rise up, it hits these different blockages and gets stuck. And even that life force energy can go into certain propensities of mind and increase that propensity of mind. And that is why many people experience in the process of sadhana that their issues get worse before they get better, because they are activated as this energy rises. But as the energy continues to rise and the body mind is purified, then they begin to settle. So when the body mind is not fully adjusted, there is a lot of kriya, a lot of movements. As the body mind becomes harmonious with the vital force rising, it is smoother. The body is capable of frequency change. It can hold the higher frequency energy without difficulty. And the vrittis begin to calm down the tendencies of mind that can become activated because there is a sanskara there is a reaction of mind there. They get activated as the energy arises, but then they calm. And as the energy arises between the Manipura and Anahat chakra, there is another granthi. I do not want to call them blocks. They are more like caps of reality, caps on your reality, caps on your perceptual field. And when this cap is there, the energies are still about. They're activating below the heart chakra. It is activating the sexual energy, the power energy. And so all the vital force is going into this type of vrittis. And it is blocked from moving to the heart center. But as mind grows in magnitude, as the Kundalini Shakti energy continues to long for Shiva, continues to be drawn towards Shiva in meditation, and the mind in meditation becomes more subtle, the frequency again begins to change. And that frequency change, as conscious awareness changes frequency, then this cap begins to be removed. And there is the vital force moving into the heart. It moves out of the sensual, the physical pleasures, out of the desires for power and prestige, and moves into the heart, into love. You feel your love for the divine. You begin to feel the love in the universe. You begin to feel love for others. The frequency of your vibratory rate changes. The types of vrittis activated change. Hope, joy begin to be more active. And this is where, if this vital force rises to the heart, there is much healing to be done for the body, mind, and even for others. It is a healing to the world, for the heart to be open, and for that love to be present. It brings healing to all, the healing of love, love divine. And so a different frequency is felt. The frequency of love is different from the frequency of power, is different from the frequency of desire, is different from the frequency of material existence. And so mind grows in magnitude, the heart opens. And then the Kundalini Shakti, when it rises to the throat, it experiences the most subtle etheric energies. And as this rising happens, true knowledge begins to dawn, and also detachment. So Vairagya and Viveka are stimulated because the lower frequencies, the desires for things, the desires for power, they're beginning to dissipate. They have to do with the vital force arising and getting involved with the tendencies of mind, the vrittis of these chakras. But when they come to the heart center, the vrittis of the heart begin to open, and many of those are very positive to consciousness, positive to healing, positive to love. And then as it rises to the heart chakra, from the heart chakra to the throat chakra, this very subtle mind is awakened, the etheric realm, and the very, very subtle tendencies are there. The mind becomes sattvic. The experience of bliss is present. The Kundalini Shakti arises in divine bliss, and that permeates the body, healing the body, and altering again the frequency so that the frequency is again more subtle. And even the physical body, though it appears the same, is not of the same frequency. In the modern terms, many people speak of the third dimension, the fourth dimension, the fifth dimension. And it is this fifth dimension, chakra, that the frequency of what is experienced changes. The frequency is higher. And so, though the body exists and appears to be in the same material world, the nature of perception of the material world alters because consciousness is seeing in a different frequency. The body is operating in a different frequency, a subtler, higher frequency. And so the love is felt everywhere. The nature is felt everywhere. The beauty of living beings is felt. The joy of life is felt. The unity of all life. Because mind has grown in magnitude and there is an expansion in this frequency realm. And truer knowledge is there. Love is blossomed and true knowledge has arisen. And this higher frequency is there. And then another of these caps is there. Because even though there is bliss body is awakened and there is divine presence, the sense of the divine is still filtered through this bliss. It's still filtered. And then when this final cap of consciousness is removed and this vital life moves upward to the Ajna chakra, then the entire cosmic mind is there. There is no sense of personal self. There is only the cosmic mind and cosmic existence. There is no individuality. There is no I and other. For consciousness has moved to a frequency where that does not exist. The life force energy has risen upwards. And then finally, when it comes to the Sahasrara chakra, the full brilliance of the infinite is, but you cannot experience the full brilliance of the infinite. The mind cannot contain the infinite. The mind dissolves. In Ajna chakra, it dissolves into the cosmic mind, so that all existence is your body. Then that too dissolves into the brilliance of Shiva, of that cosmic light of 1,000 suns, that cosmic existence. And you are no more. There is only Shiva. Now, this experience can rise and fall until it crosses the final barrier, and then it remains. Before that, experience rises and falls, rises and falls. May not fall all the way, may only fall to a subtler frequency. If it falls all the way, you go into very physical identity as a body. Consciousness believes itself to be limited in a form and to be that form. And the thinking becomes very material. It is about objects and the pursuit of objects. And then it becomes about the pursuit of desire. So this Kundalini Shakti energy is identified in the coiled serpentine energy locked in the three spheres of existence, individual existence. And then it is awakened. And as it awakens, the whole universe unfolds. For there is no separation between you and all that is. It is all one. So in Tantra, there is a detailed explanation of how all of this is occurring. And so the concept of Kundalini Shakti and the chakras, the lokas, the koshas, and the relationship of all of these is the science of yoga. It is the Tantric science that explains this journey of the soul to oneness, to the God self. There are other systems besides Tantra. They do not provide this detailed explanation, but by ideation on the one and love for the infinite, the same experience occurs. When sufficient work has been done on the body and the mind, less kriya, less of Kundalini Shakti symptoms may be there. Also, the different qualities that, like the of feeling that energy up the spine, may or may not occur. Different forms of meditation tend to awaken this Kundalini Shakti, and others not so much. But they all are about the transmutation of consciousness from its place locked into the belief in a separate self to the powerful, omniscient essence of being, the pure God, the eternal one, who always has been, always will be, and is the very basis of your own existence. So, whether you mentally conceive of this as a journey into the heart and a journey to God, or whether you conceive of it as the Kundalini Shakti rising up the spine and the Shiva, however you conceive of it, it will somewhat influence the experience, but in truth, the same occurs. And Tantra has merely defined this very carefully, and defined also in that how to utilize this energy, how to bring this energy into a fuller existence, and to work with the energy. Are there any questions?
Yes, I'd like to know, is the Kundalini itself within the scope of the five fundamental factors? Is it within the scope of Chitta, Microvita? What is it?
It is the vital force of life. You are alive, right?
Yes.
You think you are alive.
Yes.
What constitutes your life? Your heart is beating. All right. So certain physical phenomena need to be working to have life, but they are not life. What leaves the body? What is life? What leaves? You see a live body, you see a dead body. They look very different. There's something missing in the dead body, isn't it?
Is it the prana?
It's the soul. It's not prana. The prana is missing, but why is there prana? Because when the soul is embodied, this subtle energy of the soul is locked in this physical, mental, spiritual sphere within the body mind structure. The soul is locked. The consciousness, the essence of being is in this. But when that removes, then the body, which is made of the physical substance, returns to the dust of the earth and forms into another form, isn't it? So the body deteriorates without the life in it, and it returns to form another form. The life is the vital force. The vital force makes the body alive. And when it is making the body alive, we call it prana or chi. Different cultures have different names, right? But it is this vital force when it is embodied in the physical form that becomes the prana, becomes the chi, becomes the life force. And that life, it's that consciousness, that essence is the eternal self, embodied in the belief, embodied in the body-mind, accepting the belief of unique and individual identity, playing out the dream in the cosmic simulation, in the cosmic dream. The dream of you exists, but you are really composed of particles, atoms, subatomic material, waves, energy, and consciousness, infinite awareness, love, that vitality that is the core of the universe. That's all that ever existed anywhere. But when the Kundalini Shakti is coiled at the base of the spine, it is subdued into the belief that you are this organism, that your life force is this. The life force becomes in the body, the prana, the chi, the vital force. In the mind, it is the mental force, but it is the pure awareness, pure consciousness. And this Kundalini Shakti is the upward movement, the movement from crudity to subtlety.
When you speak of the soul, you're speaking of Jivatman?
There is the pure essence of being, pure brilliance of infinite being. When that is decreased in frequency, when that embodies it in witnessship of individual identity, it becomes the Atman. So in English parlance, we would call that the spirit or the soul. So it depends on your parlance. It is the Atman. So Tantra has provided this science, this psychology of mind and body by explaining the system of the rise of this vital force and its identity through the layers of consciousness and the activation of the different chakras. It is an entire science. There are 72,000 nadis through which this vital force runs and which intersect within the chakras, feeding the organs in the body, which, though your body appears to be one substance because it's covered with skin, it is really a variety of different organisms living symbiotically together to form the entirety of your organism, isn't it?
Yes.
So, what is the consciousness of your stomach? What is the consciousness of your spleen? What is the consciousness of your lungs? There appears to be one overall life, one overall consciousness holding all of this together. So, is it chitta? It is in chitta. It is in all layers of mind, individual mind and cosmic mind. It is that cosmic essence. It is the pure consciousness. It is and embodied as life, embodied and manifesting as prana. And the prana, when it moves through the central channels, is the Kundalini Shakti rising up. But it is more than substance in the body. That is only one layer. The body transmutes to a higher frequency. The whole system changes. That is why if you give suddenly the high samadhi to a person whose mind has been very material, it will make them very ill, even could kill them. You see? They do, because you cannot just change the frequency like that. It must be adaptation. And the sadhana allows that concentration where mind becomes very quiet and there begins to be this transmutation of energy. It is the transmutation process. It is an alchemical process. So there are many systems to portray this. Tantra is the most complex, the most sophisticated, defining the science of yoga. Does that answer your question, or is there more?
What you're saying about the pure consciousness held within the sphere of the expression of the soul of the Jivatman, is this why it's said that the Kundalini is the form of Ishtadeva?
Yes. So the Ishtadeva is Shiva. Ishtadeva is the Satguru. Ishtadeva is the light brighter than 1,000 suns. Ishtadeva is the one source of all that is. All forms are the form of the Ishtadeva, in truth. But not all forms reflect the qualities closest to the Ishtadeva. They do not reflect the subtlety. So that which brings subtlety, that which awakens from the slumber in the crudity of material identity to the vastness of Shiva, that is a form of the Guru guiding. It is Shiva, it is the Satguru, who is the Kula Guru, who guides the Kula Kundalini from the sleeping serpentine energy to the abode of Shiva, isn't it? So there is a analogy and symbolism in this expression. But really speaking, it is a frequency change. And sentience, life force, becomes expanded. The life force in the body is the prana, the chi, the shukra. When it is in the mind, it is thought. And when it is in the spirit, in the heart, in the Atman, it becomes infinite love, peace, unitary whole. So it transmutes in its nature, in its definition, as its frequency changes. It is life force. But what is life force? But consciousness, but infinite love, awareness embodied in frequency. It is all about frequency. And so there are different dimensions as you change frequency. And these are sometimes called the lokas. The whole universe is available to you from within. If you want to know all, know the one, know your own self. For the whole of what is lies within your own consciousness. As it grows in magnitude and frequency changes, as the Kundalini Shakti rises to Shiva. So the Ishtadeva is Lord Shiva. The Kundalini Shakti is what is guided by Shiva, home to truth, to love, to infinite being. Namaskar.